gonna die. Going too fast. I'm taking 3.
I'm going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a battle in the König. Yes, so you can see as well that we are grouped up today with Master Chief and Thomas Tora, both members of NGA. Keep in mind as well, if you are interested in joining NGA, there's always the recruitment link there in the video description below. Anyway, we are on straight, so sort of looking around, figuring out what to do. We don't have domination to worry about, right? So we don't have different cap zones to worry about. And essentially, on this mode, and what I was hoping to do was just provide some sort of defense to our base, right? While working towards the north, because I was hoping to be able to group up with those northern allies up there. Obviously, as well, you know, we've got Master Chief and Thomas here with us as well. So the 3 of us should be able to form a nice little squadron here to push to the north and potentially meet up with those allies, or at the very least be in a good position to swing back around and provide some sort of defense to the base. Now, the König itself is an interesting battleship. I've been enjoying her. It's the first German battleship that I really don't mind too much. The Kaiser wasn't so great, and the Nassau wasn't a favorite of mine either. But the König is different. I enjoy her mostly. What makes her a lot more playable, for me anyway, is the placement of the turrets, right? It's a whole lot more logical than the placement of the turrets on the Kaiser. We have the same number of guns, of course. It's just simply better placement of them. Now, the only disadvantage, I guess you could say, to the way that the Kaiser wing turrets were mounted is when you were sailing in a straight line with a little bit of traverse, you could actually fire off 6 main battery guns, whereas with the König, the way the arrangement is worked out now, you can only fire off 4 main battery guns, but that really isn't too bad at all. I'm not too concerned about it. Now, the König, of course, did serve during World War I. She was able to participate in the Battle of Jutland, in fact, or Jutland, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, was able to participate in the Battle of Jutland there. She served as the vanguard for the German High Seas Fleet during the operation. Of course, the majority of the German ships that were getting engaged were the battleships, or battle cruisers originally, then the battleships sort of came along. There were 4 König class battleships all told, and it was interesting. I think it was like Battle Squadron 3 or something like that they were part of. But anyway, it was the Königs were up front, then behind the Königs you had the Kaiser class battleships, and behind the Kaisers you had the Nassaus and other pre-dreadnought battleships that were in the German High Seas Fleet at the time. And of course, you know, these battleships came in and were acting as support for the German battle cruisers during the engagement. But anyway, some enemy ships have popped up. You can see the Bayern here off in the distance, tier 6 German battleship. Close enough to her, I suppose. It's gonna be a little while as well. I actually unlocked my tier 9 Russian cruiser last night, the Donkey. Yes, I unlocked her. Just need a few million more credits and we'll be able to purchase her. I don't actually have a port slot for her though, so I've been thinking about selling the Tachibana in order to make room, because I'm not too interested in spending any more money on ships at this point in time. Let alone, I mean, I don't really have the extra funds to spend on ships at this point in time. So, need to sell an existing ship in order to actually get the Donkey in port. But anyway, the Bayern. So this is an interesting battleship. I mean, she does have higher caliber guns than we have. I believe the König has 12-inch guns and the Bayern has the 15-inch guns. So, you know, definitely the Bayern has the hitting power on us. But as long as we can angle, maybe not be at the center of focus for that ship specifically, we might be able to do something about her quickly. Hopefully, anyway. Now, I am trying to focus on the Bayern itself because, you know, this was the battleship that was really the biggest threat for us, and on top of that, she is giving me a nice broadside right now as well. So in the meantime, you can see that, you know, we did kind of go to the north, but it looks like there's quite a few enemy ships down here at the south, looking like they're trying to get into our base. So I am swinging down back towards the south, trying to just provide some sort of defense here and stalling maneuver or action in hopes of being able to allow the northern team to actually get in there to the enemy base. Hopefully, anyway, that's the plan. In the meantime, we're sticking in fairly tight formation here with Master Chief and Thomas. You can see Master Chief actually off the port bow there as well, which is fantastic because then it essentially we're able to focus down targets, or at least really dish out some damage here to some of these players. So we're switching back over to the Bayern. I tried some shots off at the Omaha, didn't get lucky with those though, so that was unfortunate. But the Bayern again is giving me not a nice total broadside, but still good opportunity to actually get some shots in. With the König, I have found that it's fairly important, given that they're 12-inch guns, to try and land the guns on the deck, right? Into the superstructure through the top of the deck. You don't really want to aim for the side, the armor on the side of the ship. There's a thick armor there on the Bayern, and you're probably not going to be able to penetrate that armor. So you do have a much better shot of doing good damage over time just by, aiming a little above and getting those shots to land on the deck of the ship, as opposed to the side armor on the ship. I just find it easier to start racking up damage quicker. Now the shots themselves are a little harder. It might take you a few more times to get those ranged in, but once you find that range, it's pretty decent. We do have a Murmansk out there off in the distance. I'm pretty concerned about the Murmansk actually, because this ship has the ability to set a lot of fires to us, and I really don't want that to happen. I don't have the premium repair party on this ship, or premium repair ability, I guess, consumable. I should, but I don't. I keep forgetting to put it on. Main reason why I just didn't want to have to deal with that Murmansk at all. So we do get a nice citadel there on the Murmansk, take the player down, so that's fantastic. We don't have to worry about him. We do still have the Omaha, though, and the Omaha, of course, is not as good as a Murmansk, I guess, but basically carbon copy of a Murmansk here, and as well has the ability to set us on fire, so we want to deal with this player as well. We don't want to let this player hang around too much. If we look at the minimap and what we have left in the south in terms of enemy ships, we see that we still have the Bayern, we have another enemy battleship, and then of course this enemy Omaha that we see here as well. So we're doing pretty good. But if we also look at the minimap, we'll notice that our northern force is basically gone. They're basically scattered around everywhere, right? Like, we've only lost 3 ships so far, which isn't too bad at all. But the force up there in the north just isn't concentrated, right? They're not pushing as one, and so it's really working to their disadvantage, and they're not able to actually get into the enemy base as of yet, which does kind of suck. In the meantime, the Bayern again is giving me nice broadside, so I continue to put shots into the Bayern. We can see Tommy just lit up the map there because we do have a destroyer coming in. So luckily for us, though, we do have another allied destroyer, and I believe it's an allied cruiser to deal with the enemy destroyer if need be. And on top of that, of course, Master Chief, myself, and Tommy are all in good positions to actually be away from that enemy destroyer, so we don't necessarily have to worry about it just now. The biggest threat, of course, is if the enemy destroyer comes in from the rear and starts capping our base. That could go fairly bad for us. We have an enemy Congo here that we're going to start firing on. We can see the enemy Congo is in the stock hull, so obviously we know that this is going to limit the amount of armor and speed and range that this player has, which is fantastic. Now, the König is itself has a range of about 16 kilometers, which is a really manageable range. She doesn't have the option of any sort of fighter plane or scout plane, but with the 16-kilometer range, you can manage it. It's not out of the question. And as well, you do have the benefit here. I mean, the König isn't necessarily the most armored ship at tier 5, but she does have, sufficient armor to be able to hold her own at some close-in ranges. On top of that, she does benefit from some pretty decent secondary armament as well, which you will find is a really big characteristic here of the German battleships. And in fact, I'm thinking, or I'm training this captain here right now to focus solely on secondary armament, which I think is going to be pretty interesting when we pair that with my Turbot's captain as well. But anyway, still focused here on the enemy Congo. If we look at the minimap, we can see that some of my allies are making a push to the north, but down here in the south, it's basically Master Chief, Tommy, and myself, and then of course we have this allied destroyer. Now this allied destroyer really comes in and does good work on that enemy Congo there, so fantastic. That is not too bad at all. Now we don't necessarily have too many enemy ships down here to worry about. We can see the majority of the enemies are in fact running away, so I'm making my way to the north at this time. Our base is pretty secure. There are still a number of enemy ships, though, but pretty secure. Now, we are down at this point in time, and in fact, the whole time during this battle, our team has been behind, so it wasn't looking too good here as to whether or not we were going to get a victory, which did kind of suck. We played a number of battles, actually, last night. Tomi, Master Chief, myself. It was interesting when we first started out playing. I think there were 3 or 4 battles there where just, you know, straight up defeat. It was no fault of our own. We were always, you know, top 3 on the team, just dishing out the damage and kills and whatnot. But there's only so much we can do, right? And then finally we get into this battle and we win, and it seems to have broken that losing streak. And then we went on to win a number of battles afterwards, which was always great. Getting closer into the middle so we can start seeing more of these enemy ships. We see the enemy Omaha off in the distance, right? We do see an enemy battleship off in the distance as well. That's on full health, so that's kind of concerning. I believe it's a Congo, if I'm not mistaken. We do see some other enemy ships back there as well. There's the Bayern once again that we've been plucking away at this whole game. And I like the way that we're approaching in here onto the middle as well. Like, you can see where I'm the lead ship. Just behind me I've got Master Chief, and just behind him we've got Tomi. And Master Chief lets me know as well, you know, once I start getting pounded, to turn around and he's going to take the lead. And this is pretty awesome as well if you can get in this sort of formation with some of your allies, because it really does work out. And we'll see that, yeah, I do definitely start getting pounded away at, and Master Chief definitely does come up and take the lead from me, which more or less saves me, which is fantastic. But this sort of line movement in the battleships is great. Now, I mean, traditional naval maneuvers in this game don't necessarily work, but when you can get them to work, or at least when it appears that they are working, it is always something to behold, and I was fairly happy with all of this anyway. So we do have the enemy Texas off in the distance. Now, Texas and or in New York versus a König. The König, in my opinion, is, you know, a far superior battleship. The Texas and the New York just don't seem to have that great of armor when you are plunging your shots into the deck of the ships, right? They do have some pretty decent armor, an armor belt along the side of the ship, so, you know, there is that you want to watch out for. So things are starting to heat up here. We can see some torpedoes coming in and a number of enemy ships off our bow. So trying to figure out what target I want to fire at. So I put some shots into the enemy battleship. We do have some torpedoes coming in. We're a little concerning, so I'm going to try and avoid these. More torpedoes coming in as well. So it looks like I am going to eat one of those, and that did a pretty significant amount of damage. So basically now the choice has been made for me. I need to turn around. Master Chief is going to take the lead here for me, and hopefully I'm going to actually survive this maneuver. We do have a number of enemy ships quite close in, right? And more importantly, there are a number of destroyers lurking around as well. Now these destroyers are of a big concern for us. We can see shots coming in from the rear. Now this, of course, is Tomi and Master Chief. There's Master Chief coming up, taking the lead for me, which is fantastic. Couldn't have come at a better time, right? You can take a look at my hit points here. Really moved in here and saved the day for me, which is fantastic. Tomi, of course, is going to be passing on the starboard side here, and he's moving into position to help support Master Chief, while I try to get myself into a position where basically I'm still able to fire in on the enemy, but I'm not center of attention. If you notice, I have about 1:41 left on my repair, so I'm trying to eat out that time so I can get the repair going here so I don't die. Enemy destroyer pops up here really close, so we can see immediately. I'm going to try and start engaging this player. My secondary batteries are going. Unfortunately, Master Chief gets taken out, which was tragic, but still. We do have Tomi here as well, so the division keeps on going. And what has been hilarious as well up to this point is, I don't know if you noticed earlier in chat, one of the players on the enemy team mentioned how many battles in a row he had played and how many were losses, and that this one finally looked like it was going to be a victory after about 2 hours. Oh god, it was great. Anyway, so the enemy destroyer is gone, so this is fantastic. We only have the one to worry about, which is over there facing down Tomi, but you can see Tomi is putting some shots into the enemy Congo, and in fact just landed a really nice shot into that enemy Congo, which is fantastic. I'm kind of, you know, playing I don't know, ring around the rosy, I guess, with this Congo around this mountain. I'm trying to get shots off, but I'm on such low hit points that I wasn't willing to stop and allow the Congo to come into firing range. Instead, we see the Bayern again in the distance, so I'm going to put some shots off into this player while I've got them, and then try and turn and train my guns onto the enemy Congo in anticipation for this player coming around the mountain. Unfortunately, Tommy just got taken down by some enemy torpedoes, but I believe Tommy did manage to take down the Congo. Yes, there we go. So I don't have to worry about that Congo, so this is fantastic. Now there are 3 allied ships remaining, myself and 2 allied destroyers versus 4 enemy ships here, 2 of which are battleships, so we do need to be careful. Given the point situation here as well, right, the enemies are still in the lead in terms of points, we are looking to actually take out some of these enemy ships as quick as we possibly can. The ones that are on the lowest health, right, these are the ships we need to prioritize. So we see the enemy Bayern off in the distance. Now this player does have some fairly low health, so if I can just maneuver my ship to get a nice broadside off, you do have to remember that, you know, these early tier German battleships, they do have some pretty atrocious turret traverse. So you do need to allow for that. So I get the broadside off, shots are on their way in, not looking too promising as to whether or not I'm actually going to get a hit. In the meantime, of course, I did manage to get the old heal ability off, so I have healed up as much as I possibly can, and these are the hit points that I have remaining for the rest of the battle. So I have got what I have, and I need to work with it here. Turning around, right, I wasn't going to push out into the middle beyond this island because I'm in a pretty good position right now, actually, for cover. And I wanted to maintain this cover as much as I possibly could, you know, keeping in mind hit point conservation. I don't have a whole lot of hit points to play around with at this point in time. So enemy cruiser pops up here and immediately starts to engage me. It's an enemy Furataka, basically on full health, but we can notice here that the turrets on this enemy Furataka, right, so they're not the double turret. So we know that this player, you know, most likely doesn't have the fully upgraded hull here. The biggest concern for me about this player is obviously going to be the torpedoes. I don't want to run into any of the torpedoes on this player. That would really suck. We have some torpedoes coming in from an ally, and I really thought those torpedoes were going to hit. And I was like, you know, rock on, good job, destroyer. And unfortunately, the Furataka is able to dodge all those torpedoes. Furataka moves behind the island though, and I'm not going to be able to get any more shots off. But fortunately, the Omaha pops up here. And again, you know, Omaha is going to be the priority target here on the lowest health. Got to try and get this player gone, so that we can start evening up some of these points here and giving my team a bit of a chance here to actually take victory. First shots go in and miss the Omaha, but I've got some more shots going in. You can see the torpedoes coming in. That is obviously from the Furataka, so luckily we were able to avoid that, so that's not too bad at all. Shots are almost in on the Omaha. There we go. Once it'll take out the Omaha, fantastic. Now we've got the enemy Texas, right? Enemy Texas on fairly low health. Torpedoes were so close to hitting that player. I really wanted those to hit him and take him down because I didn't think my shot would go in and be able to actually take down the Texas in one volley there. And exactly that's what happened. Did about 2,000 damage, but still, we need to take down the enemy Texas. We've got another torpedo warning coming in. Now, these are friendly torpedoes because my friendly destroyers managed to take out the Furataka, so good job for those guys. We only have 2 enemy ships remaining. Both are battleships. We do finally have the lead in points here as well, which is pretty fantastic. We're going to line up all our guns, get a nice full broadside off at the enemy Texas, hopefully take the player down. There we go. 10,000 damage. Enemy Texas is gone. Fantastic. Now we just have the Bayern. Yes, very satisfying, especially considering, I mean, in chat, the enemy team were calling it victory already, right? People were rejoicing about all the defeats they had earlier, and finally this was going to be the victory. It didn't work out for them. I still have the enemy Bayern though, right? And I'm still on fairly low health, so anything could happen at this point in time. You can see one of my destroyers is also on really low health as well. So a few shots from the Bayern and that player will be gone. So we do still need to play it safe here. It's not over until it's over, right? So we're going to try and line up some another broadside here into the Bayern, but I don't have that great of an angle to be able to fire in on the player. So yeah, I want to try and get some shots in as I can, but again, you know, also don't want to present too much of a broadside here because, you know, we've got higher caliber guns on the Bayern there. We can see some torpedoes coming in from an allied destroyer. Oh, I thought those were going to hit as well. I was confident. I was like, even Master Chief was, you know, good job, buddy. He, like, look at this. He managed to ambush the Bayern, but no, Bayern avoids it. It was tragic. But anyway, we still have a bit of time here to play around with, about minute 30, so we might be able to finish off this player, or, you know, we might be able to get another allied destroyer, some torpedoes coming in, and in fact, we can see a torpedo strike on its way for the Bayern. Hopefully these will be the one. So we're just going to turn our ship, try and angle ourselves a little here while we are reloading, and then of course get our turrets on target. No need though. Allied torpedo strike comes in, takes out the Bayern, and victory is ours, or Bayern, whatever it's called. Fantastic. This was a really great battle, and like I say, it was the battle that broke the losing streak for us here as well. And of course, after this battle, we went on to bigger and better things. 286,000 credits, 4,400 experience, 92,000 damage, which isn't too bad at all. You can see if it did finish first overall in the team with about 1,483 experience. We can see how the damage broke down here, right? I really tried to plug away at that Bayern as much as I could during the whole battle. And of course, when all is said and done, I do walk away with 237,000 credits. And again, the 4,409 experience, which is great, because of course, you know, I am researching and saving up for that tier 6 German battleship. Anyway, that is today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. On a side note, I had an excellent night on Saturday. Went down downtown Fredericton here, saw the Tragically Hip concert, whatnot. Maybe partake in a few drinks as well. You never know. Anyway, as always, folks, you know, leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.